Welcome to Manifest This, believer versus skeptic. Today we're going to take the cruise test. Can the law of assumption deliver me a dream voyage?
I'm excited for this episode.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm putting my neck on the line here. Listeners,
That's
we were
okay.
just chatting before the episode, as we always do. And we had one thing in mind, and we've decided to take a quick detour. And Jen has convinced me to get a little bit personal here. So that's what we're going to do. And there's a big
Yay!
test. There's a big test. Okay, Jen, lead us off.
Well, let's introduce what happened. So, Sharon and I were chatting prior to this episode. Sharon speaks on cruise ships all over the world. And as a thought leader, as a, highly regarded speaker, when do they listen?
So I get engaged as an enrichment speaker, and I typically speak on food culture and food history, typically when there are sea days. So folks want to get off the ship and jump into port and do a little bit of exploring. And on those off days when we're going from one place to another, that's when I get to talk about stuff I really love, which is food culture and food history and the way that food connects each and every one of us.
Which is awesome.
So typically what I might talk about, for example, is oodles of noodles. So how noodles started out in China and how it sort of made its way through Asia, Southeast Asia, across the Middle East, into the Mediterranean, and then obviously into the Americas after that. And I look at it from an historical perspective and the history of that and the things that we find most delicious. And if we're hitting a particular port of call that's got a particularly amazing plate of noodles, I might just give folks a little bit of a tip.
Got it. Okay. So that's what Sharon does on these ships. And there was a cruise coming up in October. So it's
That's
countdown
right.
time. And she just found out yesterday or the day before that she has not been chosen, that her talk has not been chosen for this cruise that she really wanted to go on because this cruise is a cross Atlantic cruise. It allows her to get from the European countries over to North America, and her family is in Canada, just like I am, and she gets to come visit me and her mom and dad. So she loves this cruise. She's done it before. She wanted it again, and she didn't get it. So this is the perfect test, I think, for Neville Goddard's law of assumption.
And here
Yep.
we go. And here we
Yeah.
go.
Right.
Okay. I'm here. I mean, here's the thing. It happens all the time where you get chosen for certain things and sometimes you don't get chosen. And I said to Jennifer, it happens. I'm okay with it. And Jennifer had one of those believer glints in her eyes and said, let's test this. Are you willing to be a guinea pig? And
Yeah.
as much of a skeptic as I am, let's put it to the test. Okay, let's see, Jennifer, if this really works.
So what have you got to lose? You're already good with not going, right? But we have to get rid of that language. So for all the listeners, what if you could test the law of assumption, meaning you assume the thing you want is done. That's the law of assumption. What if you could test the law of assumption on something real, something you want so badly? Could you make that happen? So today, Sharon is our test case. Okay. So here's the challenge. As I just briefly said, Neville Goddard, one of the greatest law of attraction manifestation thought leaders of our time. He made it so pedestrian. He made it so approachable. Neville talks about living from the end versus living towards the end. If Sharon was to live from the end, well, let's ask Sharon. Here's some key questions. Sharon, if you knew you were going on this cruise, how would you feel right now?
I'd be excited. I'd be putting all my ducks in a row because I'm a very organized person. I'd make sure that every talk was perfect. I take 5 backups of everything that I do because I have multiple talks. I refine them and make sure they're just right. I make arrangements for my plants, all those things.
Right. So if that's what you would be doing, if you were going, you're now going, right? Like you're going.
Okay.
You're going. And here's the thing. I am absolute about it. You're like this. You're like, okay, you got
Right.
to get rid of that. So the only way that you're going to get that cruise is if I can convince you, who cares? It's a game. Let's just pretend. Let's pretend you're going on a pretend trip, right? How fun is that? You
Okay.
have to eliminate all doubt. And that's why I can't guarantee to our audience that this is going to work because
Right.
I can't run your mind. You can only run your mind.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
but I can help you with this. So, what would you start planning for? Tell me, what would you do?
Uh,
What's your list? What's your
Suitcase
list?
always goes on the bed. I
Okay,
have
check.
stuff I always take that
Okay,
I always prep for. I start to eat out my fridge and my freezer to make sure there's nothing in there because I don't want to go into a power failure and have a fridge to clean up afterwards.
got it. Yep.
And, I just make sure I have my tech bag with me and all the toys I need to be sure that I put on the best absolute enrichment talks I possibly can.
What about would you tell people you were taking off on a trip?
Absolutely. Because I've got a
Okay.
great social circle here. So that would mean that I'd have to let folks know that I'm heading out. And I'd
Yep.
probably let my parents know that I was coming over and
That's going
sort
to
of
be the
make
real test
plans.
right there. That's going
I
to be the
already
real
told them
test
I
right
wasn't
there.
coming.
You're going to have to call them back, I'm afraid, and tell them you're coming.
Oh, they're 85 years old. I don't want to cause a panic.
Okay, well, it'll be a surprise then.
There you go.
Okay, that's fine. I can handle that. But, my point is you have to act as if. Those are the big words. You must act as if it's done.
Okay, here's the thing instead of my parents.
Okay.
So if it meant that then I was coming up to Toronto, that means that I'm having dinner with you.
Mm-hmm. Let's pick the date. When are we having dinner? My calendar's out.
Oh, geez, I got to look up what the date of the cruise was because I don't
You
remember.
can get back to me. You can get back to me. But you know what I'm going to do? Because I believe in this so much, I'm going
What's
to
that?
book the photographer that we've been talking about for a year. I'm going to book a photo shoot for you and me.
Okay, November, let's call it November the 4th.
Okay, photo shoot being booked. November photo shoot with Sharon in my calendar. Okay. How would you talk about it to others? We need to talk about this. But you can't call up your friends and say, my friend wants me to do this stupid experiment. So I might not make it to pickleball next week. You got to call them up and say, guys, consider me out of commission. You have to tell me, your podcast partner, Jen, I am out of the country from October blah, to November the whatever. We have to work around those dates. You can't say, yeah, this might happen. You have to go, guys, I'm out of town. Sorry, you're going to have to work without me. That's the difference between the believer and the skeptic, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, that's really tough to do because
Is it
I
worth
could,
it though?
then I feel disingenuous to my friends.
Why?
It's like I'm not going to be here. And then what if I,
But again, you know me, I'm going to reframe everything. What if it works? What if after you get the call that somebody bowed out because their kid broke their arm or whatever it is? And again, I have to give a warning to everybody listening. It is if it is the creator's will that this be done, right? We are not hoping somebody comes down with the plague so that Sharon can take a spot on the ship. That's not how this works. But the
right?
creator has an unbelievable way of moving those jigsaw pieces so that you can have what you want because the creator is good and he loves you. He, she, it loves you. The
Okay,
power
so
loves you.
so let me put it to you this way then. Typically, I wouldn't tell any of my friends that I was going until I actually had plane tickets in hand. So it's not like I would actually say to anybody, I'm going, I'm going, I'm going in advance in any event. So as soon as
Okay.
they
Okay.
say you're confirmed,
Yeah,
that's what I typically tell people. I
that's fine.
only told my parents in advance because I was trying to find out where they were going to be in the world.
Okay, fine. So I'm going to let you off the hook on tell your friends, but you're not off the hook on everything else. The packing, the pre-packing, the fridge, the tech bags, the toys, the social circle is dependent on the tickets. The plants, all that stuff. So, yeah. So you have some easy micro actions to do. These are what we call inspired micro actions, right? Showing the universe that you're serious about it. Showing the universe that you are going to meet it halfway because you're going to do all the stuff you have to do and then you need it to backfill the stuff that you can't control,
Okay, fair,
right?
fair.
Okay. But the tough stuff is going to be the mental stuff. You have to put your mind, and I don't care what you have to do. I don't care whether you have to live in like the most fairy tale land and everyone thinks you're Delulu. I don't care what you have to do, but you have to put your mind in a state where you believe with every piece of power and might you've got that you are departing on that date.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. But I mean, I'm going to go back to I already know I haven't been chosen and two other people were. So, isn't that the reality? Like, what if I get my hopes up and it doesn't happen?
Okay, let's remember there are two worlds here. There's your physical, real world. Yes, you were told by a real person, they gave you real words that you were not chosen. There's also a spiritual world.
Okay.
And in the spirit world, the minute you wanted that cruise, you got it.
Got it.
It was given to you in spirit.
Okay.
In the spirit of it was given to you. Now, how you align with that, and nobody can see this, but I bought myself a little teeter-totter. Right now, you're down here, and that cruise is up here,
So I'm sitting at the
right?
bottom of the
You're sitting at the
teeter
bottom
totter
of the
on my butt.
seesaw, teeter-totter, and that cruise, you have put it up on a pedestal.
Okay.
And the only way it's in the vortex, right? That's what Esther Hicks would call it. It's in the vortex, but you have weighted this thing down so much. In fact, I bet you any money the reason you didn't get it so far is because you doubted you'd get it. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So now it's all coming out. The reason you didn't get the cruise, Sharon, is because you had doubt around whether you'd get it in the first place or not. But we can still change that, right?
Okay.
What we need to do is, in order for you to get it, you've got to be on the same frequency as the cruise. And
Okay.
the way to get on the same frequency as the cruise is to feel awesome, be excited, live in anticipation, plan for that day. This cruise is all the good feels.
So isn't that though getting attached to the outcome?
No, because you've already told me that you're good with not going,
Okay. Okay.
right? So, yes, if you were so attached to this that you're like, I gotta have it, I won't be whole without it. Yeah, that's getting attached to it. But what you're saying is, I'm excited, it is coming. You're not saying, I'm worried that it won't. I won't be the same person if it doesn't. You're
Mhm.
saying, I can't wait for it to happen. I live in joy and bliss. My life is perfect. And yeah, go out throughout your day like you don't have a care in the world because that thing is
Okay.
coming.
Okay. So I'll try it. I'll assume I'm going even if part of me still doubts it.
That's not going to work. You will not go with that. Just so you
Okay.
know. You cannot
So
doubt it.
all
That's why
in.
I'm not saying this is easy, guys. All in. I'm going. And
Okay.
every night, as you fall asleep, this is one of Neville Goddard's biggest teachings. That mushy, goopy, lovely feeling as you drift, you're not asleep yet, but you're about to, in that hazy moment, see yourself on that ship. See yourself at the podium. Envision and visualize yourself giving the speech, talking to the people. What would you eat? What else do you do on that ship? Go to the fitness classes or walk the ship or look over the banister. Like literally see yourself not on any cruise ship, on that cruise ship. You've been on it
Got
before. You know what you
it. Yeah.
did every night before you go to bed.
Okay.
Visualize the outcome that you want to see in your life.
Okay. So
Okay.
basically what we're looking at is positive thinking with no guarantee.
I love the spin you put on this all the time. It's not just positive thinking, because positive thinking would be, I hope I get, it would be great if I get this trip. I'd be really happy if I got it. We are living from the end. It's done. You're
Okay.
going. So do you want to hear what the practical application or that what the prescription I would give you would be if I was a doctor and I was writing you a prescription for this? Do you want to hear what that might be?
Absolutely.
Okay. So there's 5 steps. First step is you got to rewrite the story.
Okay.
Okay. So every day, I want you to have an internal dialogue. So say to yourself, as though I want you to say to yourself, I'm already booked. I got to pack my bags. My bags are packed. I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside my door. I want you to say, I can't wait to see Barcelona again. I'm so excited. It's been a while since I've seen my parents. I can't wait
Okay.
to have dinner with Jen. I can't wait to see the smiles on the people's faces as I tell them about oodles of noodles. The whole thing is just, I can't wait. I
Okay.
can't wait to feel the breeze in my hair. I can't wait. I know you love packing your tech bag. Come on. Okay. So every day, I can't wait to see Barcelona again. Can you say that every day?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That I
I
can
can't
do.
wait. I can't wait to see Barcelona again. And now we need to get into the emotional blueprinting or feeling it, okay? Every night, I want you to imagine yourself standing on the deck, watching the sunset mid-Atlantic. How
Okay.
would you feel?
Okay.
I want you to feel it then. Feel
All
it
right.
now like you will then. Get into the
Okay.
feeling of it. Okay?
I can do that. Yep.
Okay, step 3. Step 3, micro actions. Maybe start organizing. We talked about this. What you'd pack, researching your Miami to Toronto flights if you have to do that, or maybe brushing up your speaking notes. We talked about this. Get those speeches ready, baby.
Right.
Get them ready.
Yep.
Get your bags out, okay? Step 4, we need a language shift. So much like step 1, I want you to talk to others because it will come up. You don't have to tell them if you like, do you literally not talk about it until the flights are booked? Or you say, well, I'm excited. I'm going on this trip to Barcelona. And
Literally, because I'm that organized and I've had stuff shift on me, I don't say anything until I've got my
oh my
tickets in hand.
gosh. Okay. So instead of talking to others as if you're going, I want you to talk to yourself that way, right? When I can't because I'm going to be on the cruise. I can't book that pickleball because I'm going to be on the cruise. Like you need to talk to yourself and
Okay.
book it off in your calendar. Literally, book it off on your calendar so that when you go to your calendar, because Jenny wants to know if you can go for coffee on Friday, you're going to have to say, sorry, Jenny, I'm not sure I can do that right now. I'm not sure I can
Well,
book that in.
good news is it's still in my calendar as a
Good,
tentative.
good. Okay. And step 5, you need a steady mind, and this is the part I cannot help you with, right? You need to guard against all doubt. And when you notice that that little bit of doubt comes in, gosh, this isn't happening. When that creeps in, you got to redirect it and go back to something like, no, when I'm on that cruise, it's going to be great. When I see Barcelona again, I'm going to go to that cafe. When I get to Miami, I can't wait to go to this restaurant. So you got to catch it. Remember, we've talked about awareness a lot.
Mhm.
Catch the doubt, catch that creep, and redirect it. So
Okay.
those are the 5
Alright.
steps. You got it?
Okay, I'll try it exactly as you lay it out, and I'll assume I'm going, even if part of me still doubts, but I'll fight that because 'cause you're telling me to fight it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the assumption itself is the cause. So assuming it will happen is the cause that will make the whole thing happen.
Okay.
You don't need to know
Okay.
how it's going to happen. You don't need to know the details right now. The cruise line could call you tomorrow, Sharon. The cruise line could call, well, I know it's almost bedtime there, but the cruise line could call you tomorrow and say, we've had a shift. Are you still available?
Right.
Like
Anything is possible.
anything is possible. The cruise could call me tomorrow. How do you feel? It's the language is important. So it's important you find some language that you really could resonate with.
Okay, so let's get the listeners in on this. How do we figure out how the listeners can have some engagement in something quite similar?
Well, what is your version of Sharon's cruise, listeners? What would happen if you ran a real life test of the law of assumption over the next 30 days? So maybe you've been disappointed over the past little while with maybe a job that didn't work out or the big 4 are always health, wealth, relationships, and further to that is love, right? Those are
Right.
the big 4. People are always getting disappointed over love or money or health. So maybe it's one of those. I invite you to look over the past couple of days or weeks about a disappointment you've had that maybe you feel is not going to happen and act as if it is. Assume the end has come. Assume you're in the end and rewrite your own versions of those 5 steps.
Okay, let's do a bit of a wrap up. So we'll get the listeners, we invite you to follow along and comment or DM us and tell us what you're assuming into being. So I'm not alone with this, folks. I really need your help. So let me know what you're doing and let us know how it's turning out. And Jen, do you want to give us a bit of accountability here?
So, Sharon's going to practice living as if the cruise is already hers. So, we're going to check back with Sharon and we're going to check and see how this unfolds. And the question is, will Sharon end up crossing the Atlantic after all?
Woohoo! I will one way or another. No question about
That's
that.
the spirit. That's the spirit.
Maybe not on this particular cruise, but I will be crossing the Atlantic.
Uh-oh. There we go.
Oh,
Doubt creep. Remember in
is that
business
what
we
that
used to
is?
call it scope? We used to call it scope creep. You just doubt.
Well, I'm very fortunate because I've got Jen to hold me to account. Find somebody in your circle to hold you to account as well. Thanks everybody for listening to Manifest This Believer versus Skeptic. Big test happening after this podcast, so we'll let you know how it goes. Listen to us every week, and we look forward to your DMs and messages. Have a great week.